Moving right along to 2G, which is real world integers notes. So make sure your pencil's out, packet's ready. Here we go. So we're going to talk about something called elevation, which we already mentioned when we talked about sea level. That's really what it's comparing to. So elevation of cities around the world. So this is like how high or low are they compared to that sea level, because there are some that are actually below sea level. It doesn't mean that they're underwater. It just means that when you compare to where that level is considered, some can be a little lower than that, okay? So elevations of cities around the world have been recorded as the following. Denver, 10 feet above sea level, London, 4 feet above sea level, and New Orleans, 2 feet below sea level. And A asks us to create a number line and label Denver, London, and New Orleans, okay? So the first thing we need to do, because there is no picture or no number line started for us, we have to draw our number line. So you should know from back in our level 1 notes, you're going to need a line, you're going to need arrows, and you're going to need dashes to know what we're counting by. So you can choose to do this either as a vertical or a horizontal number line. It is completely up to you. I personally like to draw horizontal number lines, the ones that go right and left. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's totally up to you. You decide. But while you're deciding that, you also need to think about, well, what are you going to have to count by? When you do those tick marks, what would make sense to count by? So you can count by 1s if you want. You can count by 2s, right? I wouldn't go much higher than that, because when I look, I see 2, 4, and 10. So you can either count by 1s or 2s. That seems pretty easy to me. Okay, and as I'm doing this, I also need to think about whether or not I'm going to need 0 on my number line. So I need to think if I'm going to have positive or like all positive numbers or all negative numbers, or am I going to have both? Because if I have both, I have to have 0 on there. Okay, so when I look at some of my keywords up here, I was noticing that they said above, and then I saw below. So those those keywords from our vocabulary sort. So because there was above and below, I'm pretty sure there's going to be positive and negative numbers. So here is how my number line is going to look. Okay, you can have yours look similar. All you have to make sure is that you go to 10, that you're counting by the same number consistently. So I don't mind if you do 5 tick marks and count by 2s, that's fine. But you need to make sure it goes up to 10 and that you're counting by the same thing on both sides. See how it mirrors each other? Okay, just like we've done before with our other number lines. So feel free to pause this video and take care of that if needed. But if I've talked long enough and you're good to go, fabulous. Let's keep moving on. So let's go ahead and plot our points. So it says that, oh, and I also knew 0 needed to be on here because of sea level, by the way, just so you know. So Denver is 10 feet above sea level, so I know I'm going to have to go to the right of 0 because it's above 0, or above, yeah, 0. And so I'm going to put my dot, because we always put a dot, and notice how it's right on the number line, not above or below it. But we also want to label it. Now, I'm just going to label it with the cities like this, but I'm just going to abbreviate. So I'm going to use D for Denver, L for London, and O for New Orleans, okay? So I'm going to label it with a D. You can use the number if you want. I'm just doing this because they told us to use the cities. Okay, so let's look at London. London is 4 feet above sea level, so again above, so I'm going to the right, or if you went up and down with a vertical number line, you're going up. But I'm going to be right on 4, okay, and I'm labeling that L for London. And the last one is New Orleans, which is 2 feet below sea level, so I know I'm going to the left of 0, or if you did a vertical number line, you are going to go down from 0, and I have my dot, and label, and O for New Orleans. It looks like no. Okay, I'm going to do the next one with you, and then I really want you to try the next couple on your own. So then it says, what integer is used to represent the elevation of London? So when they say what integer, we know that just means what number. What number is representing it? So London is 4 feet above sea level, so I know that's going to be a positive 4. I can write the plus in front if I want, or I can just write 4. We know both means positive 4. So I want you to try these next 3 on your own. Give it a go. See if you can do it. So pause your video and try the C, D, and E on your own. And when you're ready to check, unpause your video. Go ahead, pause it. I hope you paused your video. So here we go. What integer is used to represent the elevation of New Orleans? Well, New Orleans was down here. It was below sea level, so we're going to say -2. Okay? What integer is used to represent sea level? Oh, I hope you got this right. We just talked about it in the level before this, or the section before this. It is 0. Okay? If you have something wrong, feel free to change it. That's why we want to make sure our notes are ready to go so that we can practice this later. The last one, this might have tripped you up, but let's see if we can do it. What is the distance between New Orleans and Denver? So I want to know, what's the distance between these? Okay? Well, New Orleans is 2 feet below 0, so there's 2 I have to keep in mind. But then Denver is 10 above. So between New Orleans and Denver, I have to take that 2 distance, that absolute value of New Orleans' number, which would be 2, and then the absolute value of Denver's number, which would be 10, add them together to get 12. I can also count it out, right? I can count on the tick marks and count that I get 12. Okay? So, feel free to go back and take a look at something, but otherwise you have a quick check to go get in the black hanging pockets in the back. You can do it.